Right, hello everybody. It's Mikey P. Peppers the channel back for another commentary. Sorry I've been away so long, I'm losing subs by the count. So please sub if you like what you hear and hit the notifications so you can hear me and all that lot. Give me a thumbs up. Tonight we're going to do an episode of Goodnight Sweetheart. I've done a few Only Fools and Horses which are on the site somewhere. You can find them at your leisure. But tonight we're going to go in a different direction with Mr. Lyndhurst. We're going to watch the first episode of Goodnight Sweetheart. Here we go then. I've got it on the episode selection menu. And I'm going to push play in 3, 2, 1. And it's the old classic song. Do we think that this song... I think this is an original song. That they just added to the soundtrack because they want to give it that. This has always got a bit of a Dad's Army vibe for me, and there he goes, Mr. Lyndhurst walking to the cinema like he did. God, how many series was this? 6 to 8, was it? Oh yeah, 3 series with the first 2 girls and 3 series with the other 2 girls. And here he is in 1990 odd, 92, 3. And there he is, Victor Maguire, who was in. Probably for everyone out there, probably best known him for being in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. And in England, he was in Bread. He played one of the brothers. Bread went on forever. Never really mad keen on Bread. Thought it was a bit dull, to be fair. Oh, look, they both... Ron is the character Victor's playing. He's going to be Nicholas Lyndhurst as Gary Sparrow's mate, who he's going to rely on throughout the series to provide him with money, because he's a printer, which is really useful. And they should have been mates pre this, but I think the writers themselves say that on their commentary track. They shouldn't just be meeting here, which is a bit daft. But doesn't he look young, Mr. Maguire? And he's put on a few pounds, but haven't we all? Sorry. He was really good in Lock, Stock. He played the crazy robber with the afro-y hair. We got shot right through the hair. It's brilliant. And Nicholas Linder. Oh, here comes the first actress to play Yvonne, his wife, in the present day. Michelle. Oh my God, Michelle somebody. See, I should have done my research, but I thought I'd be spontaneous because I'm a bit nervous about not having done a commentary for so long. It's okay, I've been a bit unwell and busy, as we are sometimes. Michelle Holmes, that's it. She was in Rita and Bob and something. There was some film she was famous for. She was quite big for a while, but she left this after 3 years because I think she feared typecasting. But don't really see her much anymore. Haven't seen her for a while. Good actress. I don't know if I prefer this version of Yvonne. I might do a commentary on the other 2 girls to take over the parts, because this Yvonne is quite stern and hard, you know, and the other Yvonne I find more attractive, which is, you know, shadow of me, but there you go. I'm a man, what can I say? Ish. And I found Michelle Holmes' version of this a bit harsh, like I say. I prefer Emma Amos's version, because Emma Amos was quite, was softer. I mean, still hard, but softer. And I liked her, the way she did it. Yeah, she was really... plus, and the opposite of true is of the lady in the past. I prefer Dervla Kirwan as Phoebe in the past, and I don't really like Elizabeth Carling as the version who came in Series 3 when both ladies decided to leave. I think Dervla Kirwan's had the more popular career as of this date, because she was in Ballykiss Angel, which I didn't watch, which is sort of boring pub type thing. It's like the Thornbirds, I think, if anyone remembers it, in America, with Richard Chamberlain and Rachel Ward trying to get it on. I think it was like that, but set in Ireland, with, you know, Catholic priests and all that gump. Yeah, she left that as well, I think, after all. I think she had an affair, or she was with the guy who played the lead, and that's Stephen Tompkinson, for a while. I think that Dervla Kirwan is now married to Rupert Penry Jones, who played Adam in Spooks, mainly, and he was also, I think he's been in The Strain in America, playing Mr. Quillen or something like that. But of course you wouldn't recognise him because he's covered in makeup. But he's done loads of stuff as Rupert Penry Jones. I do apologise. He's done loads of programmes. You see him all over the show. I think he was in Black Sails as well as Captain Flint's love interest. Yes, another interesting tale for the future, eh? But yeah, Nicholas Lyndhurst, still hot on Only Fools and Horses, still doing that at this time. He'd done The Two of Us as well, which was, I quite like that. That was a sitcom he did on ITV. He's also was in Butterflies, which is another Carla Lane. I mean, she did Bread as well, which Victor Maguire was in. But he played one of the sons in that. Didn't like Butterflies either. Don't really like Carla Lane. Never mind. Hey. She was a bit too right on for my likes. Anyway, here he is interacting on the bed with his missus in the present. And I say that because you realise there's going to be, hopefully you've watched it before, there's going to be a time paradox at some point very soon. He's going to disappear into the past and enter the war in about 1941, I think. I can't remember the exact thing. The writers had worked all that out, but I couldn't be buggered to work all that love rubbish out. So, but here he is with Yvonne. And she's nice, but not really my cup of tea. I much preferred the Kerwin in the past. Even though in the first season she's a bit more done up, if you know what I mean, a bit more restrained. I think when she gets into the second, third series, she's got longer hair, and they lose the landlord, the old boy who's the father in it, which was probably a good loss because he was a bit of a pain in the arse. Stopped the stories, moaning all the time. He needed to go, really. Yeah, so here he is living his 90s life with all those 90s colours. It looks a bit dull, doesn't it, really? Although, got to say, I'd rather be in 1990, whatever it was, 1 or 2, than in 1941 or 2, because I can imagine life being terrible, when, obviously, because of the war and that. But they spent a long time in the present, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have picked the pilot or the first episode. But like I say, Nicholas Lyndhurst was like a massive. He moved on, finally did a dramatic role in the last couple of years. He was in New Tricks, playing a detective. Him and David Jason, pretty much my childhood, and in further on there, being actors that I've been interested in, because they both can play dramatic and comedic, which all actors should, and they're good at doing the accents and everything. And Lyndhurst here is doing a bit of the old posh. I think that's how he really talks. And at the start, he's a TV and video repair man. Later on, he owns a shop because he can sort of sell antiques from the past. He brings them forward. And here's PC Deadman, his modern counterpart. Bit confusing for some, but this one's like a regular PC of that age, the 90s. And he's a bit more serious, a bit more... because the PC Deadman in the past, or Constable Deadman in the wartime, is a complete numpty. But this one's a little bit more intelligent, obviously a descendant of some kind. I mean, even later on, I say about Dad's Army, Ian Lavender, who played Don't Tell 'em Pike in the Dad's Army series, turns up in an episode of Goodnight Sweetheart, playing the son of Gary Sparrow from the past, who's fell upon hard times, so Gary arranges him to have a song from the past, the royalties, to go to him. So he changes the future. He comes in a bit bedraggled, and at the end of the episode he comes in more made up. Look, it's a silver Ford Escort van, all the stalwart of... Oh, it must be 1994. 93, 94. A silver Escort van, 1800 diesel, very possibly. Duckett's Passage, well, here's the portal. It's down here. Oh, look, there's a phone box. We don't really have them anymore. I mean, this is pre-sort of mobile. Just, they're on the cusp. And then here they have, and the writers will tell you themselves, they turn a colour off here. I can't remember which filter they've turned off. But it gives you that different look. And I mean, as soon as you walk in here, I think it's the brown or the green they've turned down or something. Or the blue, I can't remember. But they've turned one of the colours off so it looks like it's 1941. And of course he hasn't realised yet, which I suppose you wouldn't straight away. And here's the Royal Oak. I think they used a real location for the first couple of series and put it in a studio later on when it all got a bit too much. But it's definitely got that sort of brown Dad's Army look about it, and Here he is, and of course he's dressed in his overalls. That's why I think he was a television repairman, so he could look more period. Because if he'd have come down there in his 90s gear, it would have been a Marty McFly moment from Back to the Future. And here she is, Dervla, my favourite of the two lead ladies who played this role. She played Phoebe for the first 3 years, and I liked her very much. Very attractive lady. An Irish actress, obviously, because I said from Ballykiss Angel and that, but played Cockney very good. She does it well. I think you can still hear a twinge of the Irish. But, she's really good. And he hasn't got any money, so he can't buy a drink. He wants to get a drink, I think. But he can't afford it. And here comes the daddy. Now, this guy, he's been in loads of stuff. I can't remember his name, because, like I say, this is a bit off the cuff. David Ryle, apparently. Probably, yeah, he's dead. What's he famous for? He was in the Daphne Hallows. He played the dad in Outnumbered, another British sitcom. He played the dad of the parents, the sort of semi-improvised show, apparently, about a load of kids and adults on, which was good. I might do that one day. Another good series, sort of like the 2.4 Children, which ran before it. Similar, but they did, like I say, improvise. But anyway, he's in The Elephant Man as well, Singing Detective, the Michael Gambon version. A good actor. I don't like him in this part. I think they're right. After this season, he's written out. He gets blown up because he's too sort of hard. There's no leeway with him, is there? And of course, Gary's going to be going with Phoebe, even though Phoebe is married, which is definitely a frowned upon thing in 1940s England. And him being so old-fashioned, he's never going to put up with it, is he? So they had to blow him up. But in his first scene, he thinks this is a theme pub, obviously, and I mean, you would, wouldn't you? I suppose if you put a mask on Nicholas Lyndhurst, Gary Sparrow, in this, he'd look like bloody Michael Myers. And there is that first beginnings of being a spy, which I think he keeps up with throughout. And when he does, I don't think he gets his outfit in this episode, but when he does finally dress up, for all you Doctor Who fans out there, I think the suit he wears in this is very reminiscent of what David Tennant wore as his Doctor. The undersuit and the hat are similar, and the overcoat, all that is similar in size and style, but different colour. So when you watch David Tennant's Doctor Who, think of Gary Sparrow, because I think that's where he originated it. Maybe that's where they got the idea from, who knows, eh? But now he's going to attempt to buy a pint when he's got no money. And they taping up the windows and all this, and I assume they did the period detail really well, because the writers bang on about it in their commentaries, which are interesting, but of course, I think the writers did another cut. I think they did Shine on Harvey Moon. I can't stand that. That's a right load of crap. I mean, yeah, you're all entitled to your opinion, but yeah, it's not for me, I'm afraid. And Dervla was in the revamped version of, Randall and the Hot Girl Deceased. Oh, he's having a look outside and realising that it is the actual war. They never really explain the time travel. Later on, I might do another episode of this. When he gets split up, that's one of my favourite episodes. When they do the old Enemy Within thing from Star Trek, where they split him in three, I think. Because they have Gay Gary, Evil Gary, and Nice Gary, I suppose. And that's one of my favourite episodes of this, but I thought I'd start off with the pilot so we can talk about this, how this all gets set up and everything. And there's Constable Deadman. He looks similar to his modern counterpart, obviously. Even the uniform's not a million miles away, but he doesn't know him. He is the thicker and more endearing. I think one of these episodes as well later on, because it gets more interesting, the time travel later on, because I think he goes up the wrong end of it and gets back to 1866 or something, 1888, Jack the Ripper time. And that was a good episode as well, because they also gave Emma Amos a chance to... Is that the gun from Carry On England? I wonder if it is. I wonder if that's a little nod. Because I think the lady that costumes Gary later on in this season, probably the second episode, played Mrs. Fox, who married Clive Dunn's butcher in Dad's Army. That was the last episode of that. She came in that. Mrs. Fox, yeah. Can't remember the actress's name. Who did he played Corporal? Don't Panic, that one. Anyway, he's out there checking. He's going to drink his beer. I presume this will probably be apple juice with something shoved on the top of it. Anyway, again, sorry for being away so long, but I just haven't had much time to get back into the commentaries. But now I will give you my effort. I thought I'd do a quickie first. We might bung a film on at some point and do that very soon as well. I'm going to try and upload as much as I can. I know everyone says that, but I need to build my bases up, don't I, for my audio commentaries. I mean, that's pretty much what I like to do, because I just like to whittle on over stuff, talk about my memories of it. I watched the first series, and then I think I was getting old enough to go out and stuff, so I missed a few in the middle. Came back to it when they changed the lead ladies. Lyndhurst was in it throughout. And got married in the middle. Actually, my first ex-wife, who I'm still friendly with, when her nan died, she wanted the song from this to play at the funeral. I assume she did that. Very sweet, because her nan was lovely. Not that you would, no, I never would, but never mind. She was lovely. And here we go, is the interaction. I think they always put Dervla in red, or she had a red coat, always throughout, to give her a sort of contrast with the sort of bleakness of it all, really. Because it all looks a bit grey here, doesn't brown, I suppose is the word. And there's Constable Deadman, who was staying throughout. I think he was really good. He got married. I mean, they threw all kinds of historical characters into this later. They had Noel Coward, and I think Elizabeth Carlin, who took on the Phoebe mantle later on, would play, would sing and stuff. And they'd have a flat near the West End. And they explain later that Gary always goes back when there's not going to be a bomb and stuff. And at the end, of course, spoilers, he gets trapped in the past when the purpose that appears to be sent back there, or he goes back there, is to save Clement Attlee, who became Prime Minister after the war, when they'd had enough of Churchill and chucked him out. And of course, Nicholas Lyndhurst used to play in bars, being that he was in the Nag's Head in Only Fools and Horses. Nearly every episode, I think they went to the pub. I'm not sure if they never went to the pub ever. I think he must have been in every episode, except for the specials, obviously, when they might have gone abroad or something and didn't go in there. But even then, I'm sure they popped in, because I'm sure John Sullivan used to write for all his writers, all his actors, and like something for everyone to do in the. But yes, the guy who plays Deadman, I think I saw him. He played. David Benson played Noel Coward, who comes along later on. Yeah, but the guy who played Deadman, I think. I didn't see him in much else. I think he played a villain or something in something else once. But yeah, not much else. I'm sure he's a great stage actor and everything. They all are, really. But yeah, I just don't remember seeing him much. Oh, here he goes. He's singing an Elton John song. Your song, and I think they did a little. They revamped. They did like an anniversary. He came back into it, and he got to the future again, and met his daughter, would-be daughter, at some point, and heard Adele, and came back and sang Adele. They moved it on to the 60s, and they should have just carried it on. But they didn't. The idiots didn't bother to carry on with it. And that could have been another great series of him stuck in the 60s. Well, no, 60s and noughties. Because that little comeback show was brilliant. And he does this all the time. He'll sing Lennon and McCartney songs and says he's wrote them all, obviously. Really good stuff. And I think when he's Evil Gary in the Split episode, he sings Anarchy in the UK and tells Deadman some naughty jokes. And, of course, he fancies Dervla here, and who wouldn't, because she's an attractive lady. We all do, obviously. Well, all us men who fancy ladies do. And, yeah, lovely stuff. I mean, I think her hair changes later on in the series 2 onwards. And, yeah, he's trying to chow the old man. See, the old man was always an impediment and a pain in the arse. So when he went, that was the bit. And I think there's an episode further on where Ron, who has to give Gary all his papers and that, tells him to invest in shares or in banks and stuff. And he ends up going to a bank where the bank manager's just like Captain Mandarin from Dad's Army. So they ripped a few bits off like that. They, cheeky so and so, my old aunt maid, and all this brilliant stuff. I mean, I think the guys who wrote it, Mark or whatever they're called, they did a really good job. Oh, here we go. He's going to ask for his papers. I think this is near enough where he has to leg it. Mm. Yeah, the reunion show was brilliant, but they didn't. Just fast. Well, they didn't. You know, see, it ran for 6 series from '93 to '99, and he returned for a special in 2016, and that was really good. But no, they didn't. They could have just spun off from that, but no, they didn't bother. So, idiot. And eventually, he obviously he marries Phoebe, because I think Phoebe's husband eventually turns out to be gay. So they sort of have an arranged sort of marriage anyway. Yeah, it was written by Lawrence Marks and Maurice Gadd, and they did the New Statesman. Yeah, I might even do the New Statesman one day because that's really good. I love that. That's sort of like the natural successor to Yes Minister, I suppose, and Prime Minister. I might do some of them as well, actually. All these comedies I forget I can do, but you forget, don't you? But I want to do some movies as well, so we've been moving on. Here's an air raid. See, because old Sparrow still doesn't quite understand. They're going down the cellar. And they've got to let him down there, because it's the only safe place. And, yeah, this is really cool. I mean, I really liked... he's claustrophobic and he's down the cellar. But this was a great series. I mean, obviously they can't really do sitcoms anymore. Oh, hello. Oh, no, he thinks he's had a dream. So he thinks they're doing the old, it was all a dream, you know, Wizard of Oz type affair. But it's not going to be. He's actually the original entrance to Duckett's Passage, because eventually he opens up a shop that's like sells modern memorabilia and all. Memorabilia from the war, and that's right. I mean, in the backyard is where the passage is that makes his able to get there easy. And eventually, like a time cop comes into it, tries to shut the passage down, but I think he then has to choose where he's but then it's shut. There's all kinds of time passage problems later on, and that's really cool as well. But yes, here he is. He doesn't know where he is, and his wife's very ambitious. His modern day wife, so he prefers this sort of traditional, sort of older fashioned type marital affair thing. She's more of what he would want, so he's more suited to that time anyway. Not that I mean, I think as Elizabeth Carlin takes over the role, she becomes much stronger, which is fair enough because ladies were always strong. There was never a time when they weren't really. They just, hammered down by all kinds of balls. Anyway, they're having their little sing-songs, and he doesn't believe what he's doing. And the old man was singing it. See, I wonder if the old man was happy to go, because I'm not sure he would have been, because I think the ratings for this were fairly strong. It took a while between series 1 and 2. And I mean, eventually they obviously came back strong, but I think there was a good gap. That's probably why I didn't come back, because I was on the cusp of being like going out and that, and this would have been about 91, 92. So in 93, 94 I was just starting to go out and that, so and the gap didn't help, so I sort of forgot about it. But I came back to it. I got the videotapes, and then returned to the DVDs when I bought them eventually. And the DVDs were all released. God, they were released on DVD in 1993. No way. You'd have DVDs in 93. I remember the first DVD I got was 99, or my dad did. It was The Matrix, I think. Looked bloody brilliant. Now we're spoiled, of course. Oh, and he's got up to be exploded. Oh no, he's giving. Yeah, they think he's being a pervo now. What are you doing? But he's giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And this is a technique that didn't come along till a lot later. I think it was the 60s, was it? I don't know. Yeah, he thought he was kissing him, of course. being gay in the 40s was illegal in England, obviously. I think he blinked then, the actor playing the dad role or something. But there he goes, he's coming back. He looks a bit like Arthur Lowe, actually, who played Captain Mary in Dead's Army there for a minute. And that's what he's doing, he's playing that sort of hard father type. But come series 2, he'd be gone, just so they could do some easier plot progression, I think. Where Gary would have to balance his two lives. So I think at the end of this series, he deems that he's never going back. Because I think he wants to concentrate on his modern day wife. But obviously he loses his job at some point. And becomes the shop owner. I mean, he messes about. He pretends to work for Ron for a while. But of course, if you go back in time, you can bring antiques back that are almost as good as new. I think they stole that from Doctor Who as well, Evil of the Daleks. If you watch, well, you can't watch the Evil of the Daleks, but if you hear it, there's a guy there who goes back to 1800s and brings stuff to the 60s that he sells, which is pretty similar to what Gary Sparrow ends up doing later on in the series. But now he's leaving the past. Hopefully he won't get blown up, and that'll be the end of the series quick, won't it? He can't go for a snog, obviously, because that's also very frowned upon in them days. But I think we're coming to the conclusion of the episode, but we're moving along nicely. And like I say, I missed a couple of series, came back to it when I got married, and then subsequently got divorced and went back out again. But then I was watching telly, collecting tapes, because I got videotapes. I used to tape everything back in the day. Got DVDs to replace everything, and then of course that all became irrelevant as streaming came in. But I thought I'd watch this on a nice DVD, because in my PS4, so you can all sync up with me and watch along. Yes, so there he is, giving her a little peck on the cheek. She'll be safe. And hopefully he realises he's got to walk along the passage so he can get back to where he wants to get back to. He's guessing that he can, but he's by no means certain. I even think you see a police box in this as reference to the TARDIS at some point, because obviously the TARDIS was a police box originally, which the police used as a little temporary cell, I was told. Yes, I think he's made it home. We're back to the modern day. Nothing's changed. So obviously these are two timelines that must run in parallel, because it's not like that Stephen King thing where he goes back and resets it every time. So as time moves on at a certain speed in his 40s, it moves on at the same speed, and he's got lipstick on his face. But he had a car mirror, and you'd think you'd look in the car mirror, wouldn't you, and see that he's got lipstick on his face. But no, I think he's a little bit shell-shocked or ish, because he can't quite believe what's happened to him. But luckily, of course, I think the writers contrived him to be in that boiler suit so he looked period, because boiler suits or overalls have been the same forever, haven't they, really? I just thought that there's such an innovative comedy for its time, and they don't really do it anymore, do they? Really, it's only America now that does really good comedy. I think the English have lost touch, really. I haven't seen a good comedy made in England for some. I mean, I like my Cuckoo and Man Down, maybe, but even they're getting old, the In-Between, but then that's old now. So, as a good modern comedy, I haven't really seen one. Maybe these days are over. The day of the sitcom is done, I believe, because we've moved into sort of drama comedy now. We've combined it, really, where you have your comedy with your drama, which is okay, but I miss the laugh tracks, I miss the audiences, I just miss, because I suppose being an older chap now, I'm missing the time. Oh, he's got the lipstick on his face. And I think he's going to say Goodnight Sweetheart, and there you go. We've reached the end of the episode. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. That was great fun, and I hope I'll get into a bit more uploading. I won't do comedy movies. I mean, I'll do a mixture. I'll probably do, the perennial stuff. But glad to get back to it, really. Glad to have a chance to talk to you peeps again. Like I say, sorry I've been away. Hopefully my subscribers will come back to me, because I'm not dead. I haven't disappeared. I've just been busy. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you hopefully very soon for another commentary. I hope you take care. Give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you joined in along with me. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. Tell all your friends about me, because I will be returning with some more commentaries very soon. Have a good evening, and that's Mikey out.